Thank you for joining us today and welcome back to WAMS Webinar Wednesdays. Kathleen Vitek, WAMS Director of Training, will be joining us and she will walk you through some helpful tips and tricks and applications that many of you use in your day-to-day. Today we will be discussing Outlook productivity tips. Now for those unfamiliar, or those of you just joining the series, I'll share a little bit about us. WAMS has been providing law firms and businesses with computer consulting and support services since 1974. We continue our reputation for quality and service today by installing and proactively maintaining computer systems as well as providing technology solutions for hundreds of law firms and businesses. We keep our implementation agreements friendly and flexible to take advantage of opportunities that benefit both the client and WAMS. From start to finish, we care about your business and support our clients to be as successful as possible. So to help you to be more efficient managing your Outlook inbox, today Kathleen will cover Outlook searching tips, creating an Outlook email group, Outlook categories, sorting and filtering emails, and some bonus tips on rules. If you have any questions, please send them to info@wamsinc.com. That's info@wamsinc.com, and we will address them quickly. So let's go ahead and get started. First up, Outlook searching tips.
Good morning, everybody. As Ashley said, my first tip this morning is going to be on searching. And I want to explain to you just a little bit about what you're looking at. You're just looking at a training mailbox right now with just some random junk mail, just so that we have some email to display and show you some of the tips. And we also have two search bars that I want to explain to you. WAMS uses a program called Mimecast that incorporates with your Outlook mailbox, and that is why I have search bars, or two search bars here. I'll be using the regular Outlook mailbox search bar, which everybody should have, but just so you know what Mimecast is, it's an archiving and security and continuity program. WAMS uses this and also provides it to our clients because it's a powerful searching and archiving tool. It allows you to have email security. You can access blocked email and decide what to do with that blocked email right within the Outlook window. And if there is ever an emergency and your email went down, you can access your mailbox from a website from anywhere. So we're not covering Mimecast today, but I just wanted to explain to you why you're seeing on my mailbox two different searching bars. So as I said, everybody has the search current mailbox, no matter what version of Outlook you're using. We're using Outlook 2016 today. The location of your search bar may be slightly more to the right than mine is. It has to do with how you have your Outlook mailbox configured. Once I click in the search mailbox, what I'm going to show you is how I was able to set it up to have these extra search criteria options available. You'll notice that on mine it says from, body, and subject. And so what I did is I set up a little searching template, which you can do as well, so that you can easily narrow down your searches. If you don't have these extra search criteria options, when you do a search of your mailbox, it searches the name, the subject, and the body by default. But sometimes when you're searching for a specific word and you have a very large mailbox with a lot of email, like many of us do, if you do a global search, you're going to get a lot more email than you intended to. So I'm going to actually X out of these extra search criteria options and show you how you're going to put those on yourself. Now, I do want you to notice that you can search by from and by subject right here, and it just adds something to your search box. But I find it to be much more convenient and efficient to have that search criteria that I just showed you. And here's what you can do. You will have the More button available to you. And then on the More drop-down menu, you can add whatever search criteria you want. And once you add the extra fields, they will be there for you anytime you click in the search mailbox field. So I'm going to click from, and then I'm going to go back to More and click Body. and then I will choose subject as an option. You, of course, can pick anything you like, but those are the three that I tend to use most often. So, for example, if I want all the emails from Ashley that have the word training in the body, and I just press enter, it's going to narrow down my list and show me just email from Ashley that has training in the body, and you notice that it highlights it as well. So it can be very efficient to do your searching from the search bar and have these criteria always available to you. I'm just going to show you that when I click close to close my search or escape on the keyboard, the search criteria disappears. But once I click back into the search mailbox, then those options come right back. So hopefully that's a good searching tip for you. It'll make searching in your mailbox much easier, more efficient. Remember, you can always add additional criteria. Those are just the three that I have by default. And in my own personal mailbox, I always keep these options available. It helps me immensely when I'm looking for mail. Another one that you might also want to consider adding is attachments, or you can simply click up top here, has attachments. That can also be really helpful as well. So those are my searching tips for you today. And I'm going to pass this back over to Ashley for a moment.
Thank you, Kathleen. Next up, Kathleen is going to discuss creating an Outlook email group.
Okay, thanks, Ashley. So I want you to note the difference between the Outlook email group that I'm going to show you and the Outlook email groups that you all probably have that are created by whoever administers your Outlook. And I'm going to create a new email to just show you here that when I click the To button and I look at our list of WAMS employees, you're also going to see like the Cloud Connect team. Those are email groups that have been set up by our Outlook administrator. That's different than the Outlook group that I'm going to teach you today. And so there are two ways for you to go about doing this. You can click on New Items, and then it's buried under More Items, and then Contact Group, or you can simply go into your own contacts. And when you go into your own contacts, you will see New Group. So this new group, or this group that you're creating, is a personal group, and it's available to you only. However, just like a contact, you can forward this and share this with other people, but it's not going to be a global or network contact group. It's a personal one that you create. So it's very convenient. So I'm going to click on New Contact Group, and I'm going to name it. So we'll call this WAMS Webinar Wednesdays. And then I'm going to add members. So I select the Add Members button, and then I have three options. I can add people from Outlook contacts, which means that I can add people from my own Outlook contact list, or I can choose from Address Book, which will allow me to add people from my own company, which within my own Outlook list. So I think we'll just go ahead and we'll add Ashley today. And then we will add Kevin. And then after Kevin is our general manager. And then we'll also add Kevin McCamey, who is our newest sales team member. And maybe we'll add one more person, Matt. Okay. So now I have 4 people in my contact group that mean something to me, but it's not necessarily a list of people that the entire company or firm has access to. So one other helpful additional feature is that you can add members that are not currently in your Outlook list, either in your company's list or in your own contact list. So if I go ahead and I choose New Email Contact, and we'll add Nicholas Vitek. And his address is nick at, let's see, we'll do wamsinc.com. Notice that I can choose add to contacts. So I can make him a person in my Outlook contact list, as well as having him be a new member to my Outlook contact group. So, this can be really helpful for you if you have a bunch of people, like you belong to an organization and you don't have them as contacts. You're going to add them as your member of your group, but also make them a contact as well. And it's always really good. It's just an efficiency tip that you really go ahead and take the time to add people to your contacts. Because if something were to ever happen, I know we rely so much on, as we begin to type in our email addresses, and we have that pop-up that remembers your recent email, or our phones that remember if something ever happens. It's very frustrating to have to go back and find all of your contacts. But if you just simply add them as a contact, then you'll have them no matter what. Your mailbox may have to get migrated to a new computer or something like that. So, all right, so we're going to save and close. Now, that contact group is actually mixed in here within my regular contacts. So there it is, the WAMS Webinar Wednesday, which means that I can open it up and I can edit it. I can remove or add members at any time. And then to use the contact group, you can go ahead and just highlight it and choose email right from here within your contacts. But most likely what you're going to be wanting to do is create a new email and then just type in the name of your contact. So as soon as I type in W, there it is, WAMS Webinar Wednesdays. Now, a couple things just to finalize about this contact group is that people receiving the contact group will not see the name of the contact group. That is yours and yours only. It will display like this. I'm going to expand that with the plus symbol. They'll see every single person's name or email address, however you chose to enter it. So you may want to consider, if you don't want people to see your individual addressees, you may want to consider BCCing them. Now notice that my Outlook email has the BCC field displayed. If your BCC field is not displayed, you can make that a default by simply going to Options and turning on the BCC field. By default, when Outlook is installed, the BCC field is not automatically displayed. And so if you happen to be somebody that, whose system that was never set up to include the BCC, that's all you have to do is just go to Options and click BCC. Now, if I add my WAMS Webinar Wednesday to the BCC, then of course I will be able to email all these people, but they will not see the individual email addresses. So that is my tip today for you on Outlook email groups. I'm going to go ahead and exit this, and we'll be ready to move on to the next topic.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. And next up, we will discuss Outlook categories.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ashley. So Outlook categories. Categories is one of these features that has been around in Outlook for years, but it's not used very often. I think people just don't know about it or don't understand where it can be very useful. So you should have an Outlook categories button on your ribbon. You can also get your Outlook categories by right-clicking on an email message. And when you right-click on an email message, you get a menu where you'll see categories as an option. So I'm going to go ahead and use categories from the ribbon here. And you should note that there are default colors, purple, blue, green, orange, red, and yellow. And they just say random green category, orange category. Now I have two that I've customized. I've created one called Ashley Follow-Up and one called Kevin Follow-Up. So I'm going to show you how to go ahead and do that. If you go to your All Categories option on your Categories menu, and you select one of the categories, and you simply rename it, I'll call this one Call Back, and then OK, that's now a custom category. And all you have to do to assign somebody, or an email rather, to a category is to, let's scroll down and find one that we can show you here. Call back Stephanie. I can just right click and choose categories from here, and I can do the callback right here, or just from the ribbon where I created the option. So it puts a little square next to the email. It gives me this green header up at the top of my email, and I see that, you know, the square is a little subtle, right? When you're scrolling through your mailbox. I mean, I see that, yes, I've assigned this one from Ashley to a category, but what really is helpful is the fact that you can sort or filter by category. So we'll do a little bit more on sorting and filtering in a few minutes, but I do want to just show you that if I choose to filter by, for example, my Ashley follow-up, now I can see only the email that I have chosen to categorize for the Ashley follow-up. So I may have many emails from Ashley in my mailbox, but the ones that I want to be certain to follow up on, I've added to this category list. So that's a really quick but efficient way to sort and filter out mail that you want to get, and a way to get back to people or follow up on items in your mailbox. All right, so those are my tips today on Outlook categories. And we'll again turn this back over to Ashley.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kathleen. So next up, we will be discussing sorting and filtering emails, a super helpful tip.
Okay, so back to Outlook. Now, we already looked just very briefly just now at filtering email. I showed you how you could filter by categories, but I want to show you some other ways of filtering, or some other features of filtering that might be helpful to you, and also sorting. So because I'm using the newest version of Outlook, one quick way of filtering that you will have if you upgrade to the newer versions of Outlook, if you're on Outlook 2010, this isn't available to you. It's available for sure in Outlook 2016, is a quick sort, or filter rather, by unread mail. Just like that, I have 3 emails in my mailbox that are unread. That's what the 3 shows me. It's not that I have 3 emails in my mailbox here, it's 3 that are unread. So if you have many emails in your mailbox, scrolling through those emails is going to take a long time to find the ones that are unread. I also use unread as a way of marking to myself that I want to go back and handle an email. And you just have an unread red button right here. So I can just mark that email as read or unread. And now when I look at my unread filter list, that one is also marked as an unread email. And then I can just go back to all. Okay, so a few other things about filtering your email. You can filter by has attachment. Unread is here as well, but I already showed you if you have Outlook 2016, it's right here. If you don't have Outlook 2016, you can sort by or filter by your unread from this drop-down menu. Has attachment, again, is very convenient. It will only pull up your emails that has attachments. And then notice what happens as soon as I go to do a filter, it also takes me to the search tools. So it's already marked has attachment. And now, because of my search criteria that I had added before, now I can just quickly add who this might be from, an email this might be from, or maybe it has something in the body or the subject. So filtering and searching go hand in hand. Also, another good thing for you to be aware of is you can sort or filter rather by importance. So if you have emails that are marked as important, it'll narrow down your list. I have the 2 here, okay? And then another one that can be helpful as well, I would suggest considering, is using filtering by emails that have been flagged. Now, in the prior training session, I showed you that you can flag an email for follow-up. So if I wanted to flag an email for follow-up, you can just hover over the flag and click it, or you can do one other thing with follow-up, which I really like, and that is add reminder. So you can not only flag an email for follow-up and then filter by those that are flagged for follow-up, but you can set a reminder date and time. And when you set a reminder date and time, and that reminder date and time passes, then you will get a pop-up in your mailbox, just like you do when you get a calendar appointment reminder. So a couple other things about sorting and filtering. And one thing that I want you to notice is that I'm using the default Outlook view, which is my preview is on the right-hand side, and my mail is in a small column here. If I drag this divider here and I make my preview smaller, eventually, when I make it small enough, my mailbox will go to what is kind of the more old or traditional way that we used to look at our Outlook emails, where you have the from and the subject and the received columns. So if you like to work with Outlook and have the preview plus have these columns, just make your preview smaller, and then you have the sorting columns. Now, you don't have to have the sorting columns to sort your email. That's still available to you, so I'll put mine back to the way they were before. I have the ability to sort change the order from the newest to the oldest. It's right here at the top of my list. I also have the by date drop-down menu, and when I click the by date drop-down menu, then I have all of the sorting capabilities that you had when you had the columns available to you. A quick tip on if you want to sort by from name, if I place my mouse on this email from Kevin, and then I go to change my sorting from the from name, what will happen is it will sort by name, but it will also take me to Kevin's emails. So if you are highlighting on an email from somebody who you want to see all their email and you want to sort by name, then it's a quick way of jumping through your mail list, because it's going to take you to whoever's name you have highlighted. Notice the email here from Kevin that is the color red. The reason for that is that I flagged this for follow-up, and my date and time for follow-up passed, and so it's also changed to the color red. So that's why that email is red. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and change my mailbox back to the sort date, and then those are my tips for you today on sorting and filtering. So I'm going to, again, pass this back over to Ashley.
Thanks so much, Kathleen. And next up, Kathleen has some bonus rules for you.
Okay, so last time I did a tip for you on using rules, and I'm going to give you another rule tip to use today, a little bonus. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the rules button, and we're going to choose create rule, and we're going to choose advanced options. All right, so it's automatically offering me the option to set a condition, and it says from Kevin because I have an email from Kevin highlighted. So it's going to try to help you with some of these options, but we're going to go ahead and pick something that has a specific word in the, let's see, I think we'll do a specific word in the body of the email. You'll also find you can choose a specific word in the subject, and and last time I did an option for an email from a specific person, but I'll go ahead and do a specific word in the body. So now I've highlighted my option, and I have to tell it what specific word. And now I'm going to just go ahead and put in training. But this can be very helpful if you have emails on a particular case or a client that you want, if it has a certain word in the body or the subject. And we're going to go ahead and add that, so you can add more than one word, but I'll just do training. Okay, so I've added my specific word. Now, what do I want to happen? Last time that I did this, I showed you how you could have it moved to a specific folder that you created. But this time, we are going to not move it to a specific folder. We are going to display a desktop alert. or I can do display a specific message in the new item alert window. So let's try that, display a specific message. So we're going to tell it, display an alert message, respond immediately. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is finish up this rule, and then I'm going to ask Ashley to send me an email that has the word training in it, and you'll see the desktop alert pop up, or the new item alert window. And I'm not going to make any exceptions, but I could. This is the list where you can make exceptions to your rule. And we'll just call it training, but you can name your rule. So I'm going to go ahead and click finish. And it's just telling me that this rule will run now. Okay, so I'm going to ask Ashley to go ahead and send training an email with, or I'm logged in as training, and she's going to put training in the subject or in the body. All right, so I have received an email from Ashley, and not only have I gotten the usual alert in the bottom right, but you notice how it goes away right away, but I got this new mail pop-up. So if you're very anxious to get an email pop-up, if you walk away from your desk a lot, this is really helpful because this new email alert is going to stay here until you either close it or you open the item. So it's just an extra way of being informed, and it's another feature, another option for you to consider when you want to use rules in your mailbox. So those are my tips today, and I hope you were able to learn something new about Outlook and gotten some good productivity tips. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathleen. Once again, if you have any questions about the tips discussed today, please email info@wamsinc.com and we will be happy to assist. Now, if this was helpful, but you'd like to dive a little deeper, or maybe you need some education and training on other applications, WAMS can help. Kathleen provides trainings both remotely and in-house, and these can be group sessions or one-on-one. We offer total customization to these sessions, and we can cover general software, legal software, custom macro packages, Microsoft Office, document management systems, as well as security training. And you can also email info@WAMSinc to learn more. Now, if any of you are curious about what else WAMS can do to make your IT solution the best it can be, we offer managed services, cloud services, projects and consulting, security auditing and implementation, disaster recovery, and of course, training. We can be reached at 800-421-7151, and you can log on to wamsinc.com to learn more. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to stay tuned. Next WAMS Webinar Wednesday will be on October 24th. And we are so excited. We will be introducing an up-and-coming cloud workspace that WAMS has been working on. We'll see you then. Thank you.